Hail and well met. Welcome to the Westgate Irregulars. I am Eric Scott DeB, the DM of this campaign. This is our episode 31, which I don't yet have a title for, but I will by the end. So, assuming that the volume is working, chat, you're not shouting at us that you can't hear us. That's good. That's good. I'm going to pass it over to Aaron. Take it away.
Wait, you have to wait 1 second because there's my script.
Just
okay.
wait 1 second,
Sorry.
then she'll take it away.
I have to remember who I am. I'm Erin M. Evans. I'm the author of the Brimstone Angels saga. I'm also going to take a minute to tell you about our sponsor. Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms is a strategy game that unites iconic Dungeons & Dragons characters from novels, campaigns, and popular shows into one epic adventure. That includes Farida and Havilar from my novels, The Brimstone Angels Saga. The game is available for PC and Mac, on Steam and web, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, iPad, iPhone, and on all Android devices.
Dang.
For more information, check out idlechampions.com. And check out their stream, too. They have a lot of really cool extra content. Sorry, Randy.
No, I was going to say, at this point, is there anything they're not on? Like,
I know, right?
Not on GameCube. Like, okay, well, you know.
Yeah, it would be a lot faster if I could just say, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
I probably wouldn't need the script anymore if I could just say, it's everywhere. It's pretty close.
If you're not living in the 90s, it's everywhere.
It won't pop up on your BlackBerry, sorry.
I'm Rhiannon Held. Apologies in advance. My internet seems like it wants to be a butt tonight, so sorry. And I write urban fantasy as Rhiannon Held, space opera as RZ. And tonight, the contest prize several weeks ago with characters from people in the chat. Doug won, and then Rakunasur was our runner-up. So once I stop, I will put the link in the chat and get that short story for free, and also the old short story with the Westgate Irregulars in space is also
Sweet.
Like Muppets in space, but cooler.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Yang Yang Wang. I am a writer and filmmaker.
Hi, I'm Emily Tang. I'm a writer and also a game designer at Wizards of the Coast. Disclaimer, all thoughts and opinions expressed in the stream are my own and do not represent Wizards of the Coast.
Hi, I'm Stephen Merlino, fantasy author and teacher.
Hi, I'm Randy. I am an Idle Champions mortician, so I just clean up all the dead bodies that all those heroes go along.
That must take you
mow
out.
down. Oh yeah, but it's a steady job, good pay.
All right, and this is the Westgate Irregulars campaign, brought to you by the Dungeon Scrawlers. When last we left, the heroes were on the run from a pod of land sharks.
Yeah, thanks for that.
in pods.
That's what they do in pods.
That's the collective noun for a bunch of bullets.
Well, maybe we can say a fang of bullets.
I think it's an Oshite of bullets. Is the
An Oshite of bullets, yeah. So the heroes managed to escape from the bullets, mostly because of Cecilia's quick thinking and powerful magic given to her by her friend.
And her ability to
My
cast
extremely
banishment.
diligent study of the ways of the Rishami witches. What are you
Exactly
talking about?
that. Yeah, exactly. And she managed to hold them in a pocket dimension, essentially, while the heroes valiantly ran away. They made it to the mountains before the bullets could catch up with them. And Ruan and Saorisen eventually showed up, having met up with the bullets and had some sort of battle. So they were a little bit injured and scuffed, or rather, Saorisen was a little bit injured and scuffed because Ruan just flew above.
An eagle shape is handy.
Yeah. But they came within sight of the dwarven outpost at the southern tip of the Giants Run Mountains. Giants Run Mountains. Giants Run Mountains. Giant Runs Mountains. Giants Run Mountains. There we go.
Giants Run DMC.
That's right.
Realms Rep. All right.
Anyway, so our heroes are slowly making their way across the lower foothills of the mountains to get to this outpost. Their guide, Narcy, has been offering numerous apologies. She just continues to apologize to you, like, usually my trips aren't like this. They're not quite this interesting. I don't usually lose the entire wagon in one.
It's us,
attack.
not you.
Angels
Yeah,
used
it
to
might
find
be
us.
you. You might be like only. This is only really interesting when you're with me. So you know.
It's like we've got a really sadistic and like omniscient narrator god who just like seems to want to, you know, throw things
Narcissist.
at us.
What are you
for
gonna
some-
do?
You can't believe that, Rogar. You have to maintain optimism. Like things will turn out all right. She pats you on the arm.
Thank
So,
you.
when I said you ended up within sight of the outpost, I didn't say you ended up within just a couple hours of travel of the outpost. Unfortunately, it grows dark before you get there. You can see the firelight in the distance, marking where the outpost is, but it's still several hours of travel. You think?
Hmm.
Good. Drag
So
out the anxiety. All right.
now, I would like you to decide whether you are going to make camp for the night or push on and hope you get there. I mean, hope you get there safely. I mean,
Hmm.
get there.
I would like to camp.
Resting seems wise. Stong's very injured from the encounter with the bullets.
Yeah.
Now, I want to point out that all this time on the road, you're not necessarily going to be able to get a full long rest. You can get a short rest and you can spend hit dice to recover.
Just
Yeah, that'd be
rest for a
fine.
little and then get up and go.
I mean, Artemisia is going to be like, what are we keeping with? I mean, we're going to like lie down on the rock?
Point.
Like, I mean,
Sure.
could-
And then
Yes,
Stong lies down on
take
the
a
rock.
nap, but
He closes his eyes. Oh,
That
it's a
sounds
Kobe
pretty
rock.
good to me as well.
Narcy says, you might have already forgotten, but I'm a ranger. And I can make a shelter for us.
Oh,
I swear
Narcy.
I'm useful.
Oh,
And then she
Narcy.
heads off to go collect supplies to do that.
In the meantime,
Song turned into something big and fluffy.
yeah, totally. I could totally
Yes.
like turn into a mammoth and shelter the group, or I can plant growth and create like a little shelter of plants for us, little beds of flowers.
I mean,
What are you going to do?
flowers sound they smell better. Sorry.
But and we're not we can't rest a full 8 hours, right? You said that?
Correct.
So if we could
Yeah,
just
you can't get a full
chill
long
for
rest.
an hour and then
Okay.
split the difference and keep moving.
I guess I'd like to roll nature and see like what's a really awesome flower that's native to the area. 23.
Ooh.
Tell me all about it, Eric. Tell me
Okay.
everything.
Let's see. So there are what are known as gold blooms, which grow local in the area. And they're particularly hardy gold petaled flowers.
Hmm.
But they're fairly rare outside the Giants Run Mountains.
Okay. I'd like to cast plant growth and tease that into 7. How many people are with us? Oh, like 9.
I'm fine with rocks. I don't need the.
Okay.
What?
There are 10.
He's
if
a
you
dwarf.
include,
They're very soft rocks.
Mirabelle? Yeah, okay. Let's do 10, and then each of the plants, I want to coax them into like growing into like a silhouette of our bodies, so that you can only lie on it like a specific way.
Okay. So what does the song you sing to the flowers sound like?
Okay.
Hey, you played a bard.
Oh god.
Yes.
I think we're going to need to hear that one more time.
Chia.
Yeah, you're doing 10 flowers, so, you know.
Can I give you just a
Chia? I mean,
of,
I get time passes.
a piece of trivia from last night's reading of the folklore dictionary, Plunk and Wagnall's folklore dictionary?
Okay.
There is, they used to think that basil came from basilisk, which turned you to, and that it, because it was used to as an antidote to the basilisk poison, so it was basil. And one of the ways that the Greeks and the Romans believed that you had to curse violently during the planting, otherwise it wouldn't thrive. So maybe while you this chia song, you might try the, I don't
To
know.
curse.
Yeah, just curse. Just
I mean,
curse. So
You
like
could
a
help me. You could help me by cursing at them violently.
I got it.
Okay.
Oh, so Celia's volunteering for this one.
Stomp his feet in a circle and curse. He's just gonna. It's gonna be the most vibrant flowers we've ever seen.
Like, what are some real dirty realm words, Aaron?
Splarn and Tloon and
my gosh.
Maid and Hrast is kind of a dam. I don't know. I always think of Hrast as kind of a soft swear.
Harassed is kind of soft swear. Like you wouldn't say it in front of your granny unless she used to be an adventurer.
If your granny was formerly a member of the Shantarum, like certain characters, you absolutely would. But
And she looked
probably
at you
because
and
she
go,
taught it to you.
He's gonna ask Rogar for some good dwarf curse words. Because the dwarves have good ones. Ball bag is one of the
Ball bag. Egypt, obviously, but well, I mean, most of them are in Dwarvish. I mean, it's like you slok bracken and you bracken freuten and you
shite tobogganist.
But you know, it usually comes to something like you smell like you smell like open air, or you smell like a gnome.
You have a sunny complection.
You have a sunny complexion.
That's a real burn now.
oh man, it's terrible. All right, so you're growing these big flowers. In your enthusiasm song, you have overlooked one small fact about the flowers, which is, as requested by the chat, these flowers smell not that great.
No.
Well, apparently a
You are lying.
23 doesn't let me
was
know
waiting for
that.
that.
Sorry.
You are lying on these flowers, and when they get this big, they like the smell becomes overwhelming.
What do they actually smell like?
Well, they have this kind of astringent smell, like really strong, really basic soap. Just they feel like as you're lying there trying to rest, they get a little tingly
Thanks, chat.
on your exposed skin. Good job, Jack.
Yeah, thank you, chat.
I think it's
Yeah.
alkaloid poisoning.
Roll Constitution saves. No, I'm just. Anyway, the point is that all that happens is that you get a little stinky, and it's not all that comfortable, but you do complete your rest. And it is now early in the morning. It's obviously very, very dark. You can see the moon, which is still waxing, has started to descend. It's the witching hour. One of you is a witch, so obviously this is the time to go.
Keep walking.
Okay, you're gonna head out through the dark.
Yeah, I want to
Some of
register
us
that
have dark
I mean,
vision.
yeah, good plan.
Artemisia-
I like it. I'm gonna get my dice.
short rest doesn't do her. She's going to spend the whole time. She's going to prestidigitate herself like a smell, and then get to work mend her coat, because with the teeth of the shark,
Okay.
ripped it up a little bit. So what is
That's true.
mended? Presti cleaned the blood of it, and so almost up to snuff.
This is this. Do we have a campfire from our ranger?
Yes. She built you a fire. She collected logs and a bunch of leaves and whipped up kind of a shelter in case it started raining, which it did at one point. So you could have also been in the rain and smelly. But as it is, you were just smelly.
And I'm sorry, did we skip to the morning, or are we doing
Nope.
Oh,
This is like
yeah.
3 or 4 in the morning.
Oh, you sweet summer child. So yeah, and
You do hear wolves
Saorisen
howling in the
and Ruan.
distance.
I was going to say, are
Oh.
Saorisen and Ruan with us, or are
Yep,
they
they
scouting?
are.
You could ask what they-
what are they saying?
You started. You go.
Well,
Well,
they're looking for mates and food, probably.
Good. So they sound like they're busy.
Well, not yet. I mean, the moon's not full yet.
Wait, Ruan's looking for a mate.
So see Ruan not too far away, and he's like,
Oh my god, you should get a room.
and Sarshan says, "Would you like me to go and make sure they don't come and bother us?"
It feels like we can wait till, I don't know, you tell me. If they can we wait till they show up and bother us and then tell them to bail, or is it better to be, preemptive with this?
He looks over at Ruan. He says, Ruan, you should come with me. We shall drive those wolves off or lead them away. And Ruan looks over at Rogar kind of wanly. And then he's like, yeah, all right. And they both turn into wolves and just scamper off into the darkness.
I think that wasn't answering my
then.
question, but okay.
He answered your question with actions, not with words.
My least favorite thing about Saorisen.
Yep. Add it to the list. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, are you sure it's
Light it up.
least? It's one,
Yeah.
but
I think that kind of thing drives Cecilia a little crazy. There are definitely other things.
Narcissus says, she picks up Sarshan's cloak. She's like, how come Ruan can turn into a wolf without shedding his clothes, but Sarshan can't?
I think Sarshan maybe liked that way, so he didn't bother to learn. I don't know. I didn't actually ask him ever, but and if you
Add him
asked
to
him,
the
he
list.
wouldn't. He
doesn't
wouldn't
get it.
give a straight answer. But that's my.
I feel like you would just be like, yes. And we'd be like, that's not a yes or no question.
Who wants to carry the,
Artemisia will
she
take
stick
it.
out the cloak? Okay, she hands it to Artemisia.
Might have been I sold him from the shop.
She's blushing slightly.
Probably fold it all up.
Sarshan is a very well-built elf. Okay, so
So Artemisia had noticed.
yeah, all right. So you're
Sarshan
making your
makes
way.
sure everybody notices all the time.
Just because that's how you learn to do it. I don't know. All right, so you make your way toward the outpost.
On the way, I do want to ride my mule up next to Caliph and simply.
I have bad news for you, buddy.
Oh no!
Oh,
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 poor little
the mule.
Bill.
did
No,
somebody
it's
not make
okay. You
it?
still have your mule. I was just
Oh,
kidding.
okay.
Like, in the night, the wolves ate it.
I thought you were
I
going to tell
mean,
me
you
something
only-
about Caliph.
You only got so many of the horses and stuff away from the wagons, so but you did get some of them, and I figure you could have brought your mule, so you have your mule. Yeah,
And obviously, Caliph's big biscuit or dumpling.
dumpling is there. Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh shoot, I forgot about
So,
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
dumpling
ride
runs
up
like the
next to him,
wind.
and I'm just going to say,
Whoa.
they're just going to say, Caliph, I apologize for my tardiness and understanding, but I always assumed your sort of magic was rather like Artemisia's, wherein you don't need access to a book or book learning to cast spells. But I realized quite late, and for this I apologize, that you are, like me, a student of the arcane arts requiring book learning. Isn't that right?
Yes.
I wonder if you and I might trade a few spells. I have some interesting second sort of
Tier.
second tier, second order spells you might be interested in, and I'm certainly interested in acquiring as much as I can. Would that be something?
You want to look at each other's spellbook.
Or if you prefer, I can tell you what spells I know, and if any are interesting to you, then I can turn my book to that page. And if you can do the same for me, and if they're interesting to me, you can turn your book to just that page. I know you're very secretive and private, and I respect that. But it is so expensive to find scrolls, and it's not every day you have a friend who's a fellow wizard.
In her head, Kayla's going, even Aiden hasn't seen my spellbook yet. No, just kidding. Sure, sometime.
Excellent.
I don't think now is the best time though. We're kind of on the road.
Perhaps when we find a place to bunk, we might make that arrangement for a few hours of scribing.
Sure, why not?
Thank you.
It is a pretty miserable trek. insects are buzzing all around you. You can hear strange noises out in the dark. You're pretty sure you heard a baby crying one time. But when you went to investigate, you didn't find the source of the noise.
Do
Oh,
not follow
Artemisia
forest babies.
doesn't like that at
Yeah.
all. Oh man.
You know, if Stong hears that, he's going to want to go investigate.
Yeah, for sure.
You see some winged creatures fly past the
Oh.
moon. You're pretty sure that this trek should have only taken you like 2 or 3 hours, but the sun is starting to come up as you approach the dwarven outpost, and you are
Hmm.
hot and exhausted and sweaty and cold at the same time because it's still the spring, and it's just miserable. You're in that sort of state. And as you approach the outpost, many crossbows are pointed at you, and you hear a voice call out, "Halt! Who goes there?"
Rogar Battlebairn, cleric of Sharindlar, from the Smoking Mountains outpost. I have come seeking aid at the Temple of Sharindlar with these, my friends.
So the the sentries, like the face that was looking out at you, leans back and like, Rogar Battlebairn. He leans back out and he says, "Aye, how am I to know you're not trying to deceive us? Hey,
You see the flower on his helmet.
that
Right.
could just be a
So-
cunning disguise."
I cast. It's new, so I need to look it up. I
You cast
forgot what it's called.
Earthquake, right?
No, basically, I do. I cast Thaumaturgy a couple of times really quick. It's a nice cantrip. It's new. I seem to, as my voice booms, my eyes light up with a bright light, and the ground around me trembles as I say, "I am Rogar Battlebairn, cleric of Sharindlar, and if you do not let me pass, you will answer for it."
So the dwarves peer down at Rogar, who's
'Cause
no
I'm happy they
conjurer of cheap
kicked me away.
tricks.
I
And one of them says, yeah, you wait there and we get the Balland blade bite and he comes and inspects you. Didn't move." And then they shut the windows.
Cool.
Ooh.
You're standing there.
Is there
The
some way we can listen
door-
to them? Oh, wait.
They're real big doors, right? Like 35 feet tall, these doors.
Mm-hmm.
One of them like creaks open like, and this armored dwarf in clanking armor comes out.
Rogar was kind of surprised that worked. He was kind of just like, fire a warning shot. Okay.
He has an unusual hair color for a dwarf. What color is his hair, Rogar?
What color is his hair? It is. It's a stunning kind of bluish silver.
It's bluish silver hair, bluish silver beard.
He's gotten a lot of crap for potentially looking like a Duergar.
Yeah, like
Made him tough. A boy named Sue, kind of a thing.
you've heard tale and legends of dwarves called Arctic dwarves that have pale white skin and like bluish hair. And you almost think that's what you're looking at, but he has like the same coloration and kind of features as Rogar does, of a gold dwarf, right? And he says, you be a Rogar Battlebairn, do you?
Aye.
And what brings you here?
Well, as I said, a friend is in need of healing at the Temple of Sharindlar, and as a cleric of Sharindlar, I am right to visit.
Well, then, I'm going to need you to prove yourself. Oh,
Ooh.
Steven just dropped out.
Yeah.
Steven pulled a
Went into
Scourge
concealment.
special.
Let's see.
Yeah, he disengaged and disappeared.
And now
Roll-
he
roll
is,
a 20 on his stealth
stealthing
check.
out of the way.
I messed up the overlay.
It did, but let me see if I can do something to fix it.
He's going to fix it. So, for the moment, Rogar's still having this conversation with the guy.
Aye. All right. Prove myself.
Yeah, chat, we know. We're sorry. We're working on it.
Right. Well, I can. All right. I'll say the thing that probably I'm most well known for. Love hurts, love scars, love wounds, hammer heart, and I summon my spiritual weapon, which is a spectral war hammer with the head shaped like a giant heart.
Oh, aye, that's impervious. I'm glad you be here. To be showing yourself wanted.
I wouldn't say
Worthy.
wanted.
Worthy, that's the word. Worthy.
Aye.
Well, that's obviously power of Ceàrdach. No other dwarf would be making a hammer like that.
Aye.
It's a very powerful
point of
spell you
pride.
got there. I did not know that so many clerics of Ceàrdach with such power were wandering the realms. Come in. Bring your servants, companions,
What?
What?
My companions,
retinue.
my friends. They are friends and should be friends to the outpost as well.
I see. You be coming in and you tell me a vinaigrette about your journey.
They do that too.
You get the sense from interacting with this particular dwarf that he occasionally mixes up his words and says the wrong word. So
Ta-da!
it's also a callback to several previous sessions of this game. All right, he leads you inside. Randy, you want to tell us a little bit about what the outpost looks like as you go in?
Aye. So, well, first, we're facing huge walls and huge towers that have catapults atop them, and we see other lesser towers with a bunch of dwarven guards aiming
With
crossbows at us.
crossbows.
Aye. And we have to pass through a murder hole passage between two massive gates in order to enter the complex. But once we do, we see that it's a wide. There's like two plateaus stepped one above the other, and we're on the lower plateau, and we see a spread of stone buildings, all seem rather low to the ground, and rather small, and
Ta-da! Oh.
Steven's back.
Oh, everyone's in different places, but I will fix it.
He'll
Sorry,
fix it.
scrambled you up.
We to our immediate left, we see there's a marketplace of some kind, and lots of note, and we see several impressive buildings standing out here and there, as well as some built into the bluff where the difference between the two plateaus, and a massive ramp that goes up to the second plateau, and a gate and towers at the top and a wall. So we can't really see what's in the upper plateau yet, but we do in the distance hear what's the sound of many hammers beating, and that's quite a welcome sound to Rogar. That's the sound of home.
Got us fixed there yet, Yang Yang?
Pretty much.
Yang Yang is our tech wizard. He only introduces himself as a filmmaker, but he's also the tech whiz, so.
I'm the person who panics anytime anything goes wrong.
Yeah.
Thank
The rest of us just go, huh? Okay.
We're driving
Anyway.
Yang Yang to drink heavily.
So yeah, as you're walking into the outpost, there are dwarves who are watching you from above with the crossbows, and there are also dwarves lurking at a fair distance from you, but obviously watching you, being wary.
Can we wave at them? Like a royal wave.
And they kind of like, and one of them goes, and then the other, They're taking their job very seriously. The outpost is just starting to start business for the day. This is the trade ward in the lower section, right?
Aye.
Okay. So you can see dwarves working. Some of them have anvils that they're pounding metal on. Some of them have they're carving blocks of stone to keep building the outpost. It seems that the outpost is partly constructed, but there's still a lot of construction going on. You can see numerous scaffolds set up along the walls where where bricks are starting to be piled up for someone to come and start building. As you watch, you see a group of dwarves marching in a very orderly line, doop, 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 and just climb up on the scaffold one by one and then start mortaring the bricks in place. It's very, very orderly. The dwarves don't seem particularly invested in what they're doing. They're just kind of going through the motions. Maybe they're sleepy. Anyway. So as you're heading out from the gate, the dwarf who met you, Balland being his name, is speaking with Rogar, and he's like, so you're gonna tell me stories of your travels, where you been, how you got this power.
Oh, well, I'm happy to tell you how I got this power. I was asleep in my bed, and
Sleep in your bed. I sleep in a bed too.
Aye. Oh, that's good. And when I was yanked from my body and floated up in the sky, and I tell him the whole Bogglewomp story, the Bogglewomp vision, granted to me by Sharon Lar, and so I and then I just say, and so I set off on a vision quest. And anyway, long story short, here I am.
I see. To be honest with you,
Right.
Kind of lost you. Like, you lost me maybe about halfway through the story. It was just a terrible story. You shouldn't tell that story to anybody ever again.
Stomps across his
He just
arms.
keeps walking. Like,
Starts
that was
across his
totally normal
arms
thing to say.
behind Rogar and be like,
Eh?
"What?"
So wait, is this guy your friend?
Well, I didn't know him.
Oh, good. He's a jerk.
Yeah, he seems like a bit of a dingle dangle.
Okay.
Okay.
So the temples are up in the higher level of the.
No, they're in the lower level.
They're in the lower level. Okay. So
Yeah.
he's just taking you to the temple.
Okay.
Um,
I'm gonna show the map.
You.
I want to point out that Ruan and Saorisen have not returned yet.
Uh-oh.
Oh. Well, Rogar's a little bit relieved about that. He wasn't sure how he was a little nervous about how that was going to go down.
Yeah. Okay. So you can see the lower part on the bottom part of the map, and you can see the upper tier up on the top. There, it's bounded on the top by a mountain, right?
Aye.
And yeah, it's basically built into the side of the mountain.
Aye.
And this map would have been great in Roll20, but my mouse is not working very well, and Roll20 without a working mouse is a nightmare.
I mean,
Look
computers
how
without a mouse
fancy it is,
is a nightmare.
people.
Yeah, computers without a mouse on its own is pretty bad. But Roll20 is very mouse heavy. Anyway,
If Ruan and Saorisen are still missing, I feel like some of us should probably go wait for them or see if we can figure out what happened, because I feel like if they roll up to this fortress, given how difficult it was for Rogar to get inside, I don't think Saorisen will be able to talk his way in. They're
Stong
not
could
going
do
to be charmed
ascending.
by his pantslessness.
Stong could do ascending to them and ask them where they are.
That's a good idea.
Artemisia was going to head any of those left. So.
Okay, so he does so.
I will notice that you're also, I will point out that you're also very, very tired and maybe slightly disorganized, kind of like weaving around as you're walking, because it's been a long, long night after a very tense run away from those bullets. So
Day before wasn't much to recommend either.
yeah, go ahead and do your spell if you want to. Stong, are you casting your spell?
Yep.
Okay. Balland looks over at you because you start, chanting your bardic magic. The other dwarves immediately, the ones that were watching you are immediately like, huh? And they tense up.
So it's all right. It's not any kind of a harmful magic. He's just sending a message to a friend.
And they watch Stong very carefully.
Just a friendly message that I'm sending. Very common spell. Very common.
Oh, well, you get it over with. Balin says.
Stong does so, and then he says, 2 of our friends are still out in the wilderness. We're waiting for them to arrive.
I see. These friends don't happen to be dwarves, do they?
Unfortunately not.
No.
I didn't think so. That's a shame. It's all right.
So
It's
did
all
you
right.
hear back from them when you did the sending?
I don't know. What is your message?
We made it to Giant's Run. Where are you?
Made it to Giant's Run. Where are you?
We're waiting for you at the gate. That's it.
Your four more words.
Whatever
Okay.
you say next, it's
It's
gonna
the next
be.
4 words that you
So if you say our friends are in the wilderness, that's what.
Bring me a sandwich.
Bring me sandwich. Okay.
I don't want a woods sandwich.
Did you
I'm
send
so
send it
curious what they'll
to
bring.
Ruan or Saorisen?
Sarshin, definitely Sarshin.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. He's the one I know better.
So you get a reply that says, "Very well. We are glad you have gone there safely. I shall bring you something to eat." Ruan wants to know if Rogar is mad. That's it.
I have to
Rogar.
recast it to reply.
Yeah, I have one more cast left,
Like
but
it
Stong will
seemed like
tap.
he was gonna say something more, but he ran out of words.
Stong will tap Rogar in the shoulder and then say, "Hey,
Hi.
are you mad at Ruan?"
No, I'm not mad at Ruin. No. I just, I need to be focused on this is very important that we heal Kaleth, and so I just need to be very focused, and so I can't help it if he's just constantly like there
I
Being.
being
don't want to get in the
beautiful
middle.
and stuff.
I don't want to get in the
I-
middle of anything, but I think you should talk to him because maybe
Oh.
there's some misconceptions.
Well, when we leave the outpost, that'll be best, I think. Aye,
So
aye.
another dwarf comes up to you, a woman. She has a number of piercings on her ears and in her nose. She's very small, like she's much shorter than even Rogar is. Rogar's the perfect height, so she's short.
Aye.
And she comes up to you, but you could see as she's approaching that she has this kind of like charisma about her, like she's in charge. And she says, "Oh, what be all this then? Balin, who will be these folk?" And he says, "This," and pats Rogar on the shoulder. "This be Rogar Battleborn.
Aye, Rogar Battlebear. Pleasure. to meet you.
Rogar Brutal Bairn."
Aye.
This
I feel
guy.
like he's mocking me at this point because Battlebearn's basically the name for bastards who don't know who their parents were because of the collapse and the spell plague and all that. So it's sort of sometimes used to make a point that you don't have
She
a clan
says,
or family.
"Be you the dwarf that the temple be searching for?"
Searching's a strong word. I think I was invited to the temple. Aye.
"Well, they're doing their morning rituals. You should come and have morning feast with me, eh?" Sorry, where are my manners? "I am Typhane Crown Shield. I be in charge of this outpost, as you no doubt have gathered. And who are your companions?"
This is the infamous Westgate Irregulars. Heroes
Infamous,
of the
is it?
highest sort. Aye.
Balin says, "Non-famous."
famous in another
All right,
way.
and even
We're very big
Typhane
in
looks at him
Westgate.
like, "What?"
Aye, and we have had a very rough road here. We just last night encountered 3 bullets and barely escaped. So if you could find
Land sharks. That'd be
aye,
terrible. Glad you be making it out with your lives. Not with your gear, I see, though.
Some of us kept our bags on us.
Mhm.
Artemisia
Simple.
as her bag. She's like, she's gonna like jump out of the ground and take it from her, like the whole time.
So both out of concern for the party and also because like I really would feel embarrassed and I'm really worried about what's going to happen when I get to the temple and I don't necessarily want everyone seeing that. I'm going to, that's my motive for saying, perhaps you could arrange for a place for rest and nourishment and recuperation for my friends and to resupply where they can restock their supplies.
Hi, that's what I said. Food. You'd be coming with me. She pulls you along.
Aye, a bit of scran would be great.
All of us? Or just Rogar?
She doesn't say, but her invitation did seem to include all of you.
Stong's gonna go to
Alan
the
is
gate.
standing there and he's like, hi.
Okay. Guess we'll follow. I'll follow, and
Right.
if you follow, you follow, and if you don't, I'm sure Balland will get you settled.
Are you giving us any signs that you don't want us to come with you, or are we just like left to our own devices?
I kind of, yeah. I mean, I don't make any obvious like move to like include you, but I don't want you to feel rejected.
Oh, Rogar.
I just don't.
Your
Again,
extreme politeness is going to bite you in the butt now.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't.
I understand why Ruan is confused about how you feel about him now.
This is a wonderfully nuanced character, and I love him.
Give me strong signals.
I don't. I mean, on the one hand, I appreciate the support of my friends, but the other hand, like, if she's going to be like, I don't know what's coming, and again, I don't know that I want my friends like hearing or seeing whatever is coming. The judgment of the other dwarves or whatever.
Okay, so are you going alone?
I think we're following.
I just kind of like.
They're following you.
I kind of like
No
to
one
start
should-
following her.
Stong goes to the gate.
Listen, we're all very tired. Like, if Stong's going to split off and go to the gate, then I
Just to
think
wait for
there's
Saorisen
space
and
for
Ruan.
us to like decide. But
Right.
we're all very tired, so when people are moving in directions, we may just ducking along after.
Artemisia is definitely duckling. Like,
Yeah,
follow.
Sturge wants to rest and he wants to look at books with Caleb.
Scrying time.
Okay. Does anybody we need to have any conversations or like does anybody drop anything or any of that? No?
Cecilia is very like up in her own head right now.
Mhm.
And I think maybe where are you going? Artemisia, where are you going?
She was gonna duckling, but if
Which duckling though? There's two duckling options. Are you following Rogar or are you following Stong?
There's a lot of mother ducks.
Rogar, I was thinking originally, but I could take her either way. Whatever you need for.
I don't care. I just want to be going the same direction.
All right.
I think she takes out her mask and she's kind of fidgeting with it. She looks very preoccupied.
You will note that, like, as we start to split off, there seems to be a perfect number of dwarven guards to perfectly match the party, and each person is being closely followed and watched by a dwarven guard.
The dwarves that you're
Seems right.
passing are going about their jobs, their tasks, with kind of a like resigned repetition. They're just kind of.
I
This is
will.
dreary.
Chiseling. It is a bit dreary, yeah.
Do they look like they're alert? They're not like they haven't been. You kind of mentioned earlier they were asleep. I was wondering if that kind of conjured ideas that they were dominated and sort of zombie walking. It's not
Just
that kind
capable.
They
of.
just
Poison
look kind
gas.
of bored.
Okay.
I mean, some of them are doing great. Like they're just like, oh, going about my business. But most of them are just kind of like, yep,
Punch in
every
the clock.
day is exactly the same.
Oh, we can fix that for them.
Just
I was
singing
gonna say,
Nine Inch Nail
You're
songs.
here
I like
to
it.
solve your
John,
problem.
time for a concert.
Yeah.
Gonna
Chaos,
focus
you
this
say?
place.
Excellent.
Anyway, so
Yep.
you all followed Rogar, yes?
Yes.
All right. Typhon leads you to a series of outdoor stone tables where dwarves are sitting and they're eating kind of this grayish oatmeal morning feast porridge kind of stuff.
How delightful.
Ah, cool. I missed it.
Yeah, and Typhon leads Rogar over to the line where they're spooning it out, and cuts in the line. Nobody stops her, and they give you a large bowl of the porridge, Rogar. And everyone else, Typhon says, "Oh yeah, these visitors. You can go ahead and serve them as well. She goes and sits at the table.
Rude.
Lovely
Maybe, yes.
dwarven hospitality. Nothing like it.
I will warn you, be careful when you're eating. If you get something super crunchy, don't want you to break a tooth. That's all.
What's super crunchy in this?
You know, we grind up certain softer stones that give it a nice chalky. But you know, it's good.
It's rock
fortifies
porridge.
It's a bit. I mean, there's a bit. I'm just like a bit.
Oh
overall.
man,
That's where you get your calcium.
Maybe a
That's
few
what
bits.
it's a thickening agent, right?
Do
And
you,
then you have your mushrooms, you have your roots, you have
your sawdust.
grain, you have your sawdust.
Did you ever read that book Stone Soup when you were a kid?
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Oh yeah, it made rock soup seem so good.
Exactly.
It's rocks and
Exactly.
water.
Oh.
So Typhon sits Rogar down and says, yeah. So I was told to be expecting you. A dwarf by the name of Rogar will be a priest of Ceàrdach. That'd be you, yes.
I'm a cleric of Ceàrdach, and I have been invited by the Holy Mother to enter in a while, but right now I'm here on a different purpose.
And what purpose be that?
My friend Caleth, her wings are in dire need of healing, and
Wings?
Yeah,
She looks around at each of your companions like she has no idea who you're talking about.
her wings. I'm sure you, I'm sure you could understand if your beard were like, really patchy and embarrassing. You might not want to.
It has
show
been a
it,
bit
right?
patchy recently.
Right. So same problem with her wings, and so anyway, and I say that quietly so it's not too embarrassing. But she just needs some healing, and it's one that will require, I think, the full resources of the temple itself. It's more than a lone cleric such as myself.
I see. And you've been thinking that you have enough clout to ask for such a favor.
Well, I do not think that I need clout. I am a cleric of Ceàrdach, and it is our sacred duty to heal. So I think that when I bring my case to them, they will honor it.
Good luck with that then. Convince the dwarves to help an outsider for free, and an elf at that.
You say for free because I've got so many jewels. Otherwise.
I think Artemisia just had a help reputation.
Oh.
He's been worried about money lately.
If you be having any trouble with the priests, maybe I could be of service to you.
Well, if we'll just see what we see. I'm sure everything will be fine. I'm sure everything will be
I'm sure you're right, but just in case.
fine. Well, thank you. I very much appreciate
The offer of being your hype woman still stands.
Okay. So you she goes away, leaving you at these tables. She did direct you to the closest thing that the outpost has to an inn, which is a series of stone kind of awnings that people can camp under. We don't have a lot of visitors.
What is this place, Rogar?
They don't exactly encourage people to stay at the out, especially outsiders.
Here, have some rock soup, and you can camp under that bench.
I mean, it's comfortable if you're a dwarf, but so it's not meant to be comfortable.
Oh yeah, they are fairly low.
I do
as well,
apologize.
like 5 feet.
It's pretty convenient. If you wake up in the middle of the night and you're hungry, you just chip a little bit off of it.
I
It's meant to.
but
Okay, but we are all exhausted.
Yeah, Artemisia is not going to eat her porridge. So anybody who wants double rock soup can have it.
Is it
Sturge.
possible, like,
How is it?
bring
Does
it
it?
to your teeth?
It's
It's
just
just
chalk.
very
It's a bit
gritty.
chalk. It's like you know, like malto meal if it were mixed with like some
Hummus.
Whoa.
Wow, that a lot of people have opinions about hummus. It sounds like.
I thought you said Tums.
Hummus.
Yeah, Tums.
Yeah, I suggested
Tums.
Tums.
Yeah. Some
Okay.
yeah, some Tums. A bit of
Malto
yeah.
meal with Tums in it.
Oh,
It's
man.
almost food.
I just imagine
Okay.
it leaves your mouth feeling like after the dentist, like before they brought
Oh.
rinse your teeth.
I
Oh,
yeah, a little bit like that.
Mm.
Okay, well, we didn't. I'm assuming we left the provisions in the wagon that the bullets ravaged. So Cecilia eats it. We'll see what happens.
It is.
Wow.
It's very thick and tasteless and sits in your tummy like a brick.
Constitution saving throw?
Possibly
Someone in the
literal.
chat was joking that you were eating concrete, and I'm like, yeah.
I know.
Have you ever let like malto meal or cream of wheat like dry by accident, like on
Yeah.
the it is concrete. I'm pretty sure that's the secret formula that the Romans had that we've lost. Just
Like those
malto
walls
meal.
appear to be made out of stone, but they're made out of.
Right.
Malto meal.
Make out malto
Dwarven
meal.
malto
The
meal, I
Colosseum.
love it.
Wow. This whole outpost
I
is
know what
edible.
will protect us.
I want to nerd out about Roman concrete recipes now, so we should probably move along.
All right. All right.
Yeah, right.
All right. Lord Bot
Aaron,
has
rope
spoken.
it in.
Okay. So, you eat. It doesn't really sate you. You don't feel a lot better, but
It's not
at least,
food.
at least you're able to function again.
All right. I'll go get our long rest in.
Yeah, you can make camp there.
How
We
many-
seem to be relatively welcoming to Narcy having shown up, since she is a dwarf. But she's an unusual dwarf. She has shaved off her beard, for instance. And they're all like, and she's like, hi.
She's a mountain dwarf. To be fair, they're
Different
gold dwarves
accent.
have opinions about mountain dwarfs.
Right.
I don't, I'm not saying they're right. I'm just saying, gold dwarfs have opinions about mountain dwarfs.
She says, yeah, I'll go set up the camp for us. Come along, Badger. And her dire weasel goes, and they head off.
Is there space? Are we like singles here, or is it like find a partner, bunk up?
It's just like one space for
Okay.
a fairly small campsite.
Oh, there's one total. So
Well,
we
there
all
are
under the-
several, so
Okay.
you could split up to.
Okay.
I think
if you show
there
the
are a couple.
lower map,
Um,
in
I
the
mean-
bottom left corner, basically, of the lower
Yeah.
map is like a sort of a camping.
Okay.
Yeah, you see that
Yeah.
on the map?
Wait, we're not sleeping again, right? Because
We
just
didn't
left.
sleep before. That
Well,
was
you
just
kind
a
of
short
took a
rest.
nap. It wasn't the same as
Oh,
a
We had a
actual
toes up
sleep.
that's all right.
in the stinky flat.
I think you're showing the upper level map. There,
that
hanging.
that at least were
It's a lower
native plantings. You didn't introduce something that wasn't meant to grow there. and
Oh, there
that's
we
good.
go.
Well,
All
it's
right.
good.
So the visitor camp is
Bottom
so it
left.
looks like yeah, some tents in the bottom left corner there.
Okay.
They're not
So the-
actually tents. They're just stone menhirs essentially.
And but there is a well. There's fire pit. And stuff.
Yeah, so it's like really
Flat
really
surface.
roughing it RV camping.
We don't have any of our stuff.
You, ha-
Right.
you have to
exactly.
pass the cemetery to get to it, and on your right, and the market on your left.
The
I
dwarf looks at
noticed-
you and goes like, blankets.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. Get you blankets, yeah.
Rogar, are you giving us
Weird.
a tour of the?
Well, just saying, I know you'll probably know. I'm sure Sturge will know, like that. It's very controlled where you have access to. Like, you were basically being funneled down this path between walls. The visitor camp is pretty much enclosed and has a tower overlooking it. So,
And up the top.
Okay.
Okay.
Um,
Cool.
do you
This
kinda
isn't
like-
what I expected at all.
You kind of head around the outpost a little bit and just kind of get a sights of where you can go and such. Or are you gonna try and get a long rest here?
I mean, Artemisia is all for rest because
Church would
seems
like
like-
to also, except actually look at books.
Yeah, you can look at books during your
And
long
read
rest,
until
that's
you fall
fine.
asleep.
Yeah.
I don't think Kayla's in a mood for looking at books right now.
All you have to do
As
is
strange as it seems.
show me one of her spells that I could copy, and he'll diligently copy it. That's all.
He just wants free spells, is what it sounds like. He's like, he's shopping instead of from the monsters, like from the fellow players.
We ran from the
Great.
bullets so we couldn't loot them for all their excellent
Yeah.
Caleb,
Okay.
your wings are aching.
Aw.
Like you've been in increasing discomfort since you started hiking this early this morning, and now you are in actual pain, like actual chronic pain in your wings.
Can Rogar touch him up a little?
I'm a little nervous to do that after what happened last time, but I suppose I can give it a go.
Well, I mean, last time it seemed to go pretty well. So
Okay, all right. So
So you go over to Kayla. She's kind of sweating a little bit,
I'll
and
hold
like
my
it's
hand.
hard to think really clearly just at the moment.
I hold my hand up, and I'm very much aware that like the other doors are watching. So, Sharon-Lar, right, restoration. And the light starts to come, I stop. Because the last thing I'm very worried that the other doors will see the buggle ones. So I say, it's just, I think I pretty that whatever I did yesterday, where I healed the entire party in one go, I think that just drained me. I think I'm so sorry, Caliph. I think I'll need to rest before I can do any more healing.
Okay,
Can one of us medicine check her for like a wing massage?
sure.
Who has a medicine check and would do that?
Stong's not there right now.
I
Stong's
feel
at the gate.
really,
Sure.
I feel very horrible right now.
I would be happy to try a massage. Stop me if it isn't pleasant.
Caitlin.
It's I rolled
Yes, chat. They do have a staff of healing, but none of
Oh,
them are using it or anything. But yeah,
we gave it to you, Rogar. You do have that stuff of healing you can bop her with, or you can
Oh,
also.
That's how you
have
heal
it-
people? You just,
you
like,
made your
whack them with it?
check, Steven.
I don't know.
I
Lots of
rolled
magic
one.
items are lots. of
You rolled a
ways.
1.
I rolled
would
a
love it if it
1,
was
but I
true.
have a 1 bonus, so it's a
You
2.
got a 2.
Oh, wow.
All right, so you
Oh.
go to
Like
elbow
massage
her in the
Kayla's wings, and you're like, I can help. Oh
no.
Yeah,
dislocate one.
Caliph yelps
Oh,
and immediately stops you.
so sorry. That was the Swedish approach. Let me try the soft approach.
Swedish are very
It's a-
aggressive.
it's a
You're
nerf.
going to try again?
She's not stopping me.
Well, now you have disadvantage. So
There's
go ahead and roll again.
I
Sweden,
rolled a
there's
9 with
Sweden.
disadvantage. 9 with disadvantage.
So you got a
rolls.
9 or you got a 10?
I got an 8 plus 1.
Okay.
And
It doesn't really help, but this time at least it doesn't hurt.
I petitioned that Swedish massage is actually Nar massage, and then it comes from the weird demon worshiping people. So
I like
Could
it.
be.
it's Michael.
Thanks for trying at least.
Okay. So
as you are camped there, you see dwarves emerging from like some kind of cave entrance, and they look weary, and like some of their armor is cracked and scuffed, like they've obviously been in a battle of some kind.
what?
Oh.
Oh,
But
I
they,
going on there?
they see you, and they're like, huh? And they just kind of keep their distance.
Narcy, ask him.
Marcy's like, Yeah.
Ask
Back here, she takes her wrists and moves them away from Kayla's wings.
ask them what they're fighting in the depths.
Oh, yeah. I'll see what I can do. Would you like to come with me, Lady Kaelith?
Sure. Just sort of like,
Right, we'll be back.
So
She
that
leads-
moment just reminded me of like when a friend tells you like, oh, they're really good at giving massages, and you're like, okay, friend, you can give me a massage, and they just end up hurting you so bad.
no! What do you think of massages?
Yeah.
And then at the end, they're like, oh, did that help? And you just,
Yeah.
yeah, that helped.
Yeah,
Let's do it again.
Yeah, that was really good. Thanks. Never again. Thanks. I hate it. All right. So yeah,
Thanks, have
Narcy
some
leads
hummus.
Kaelith away, and she says, "Are you all right? Did he hurt you? Are you safe?"
It was well intentioned. I cannot fault his intentions.
Maybe I can help you. You know, I have a small amount of magic on my own.
Being a ranger.
Yeah.
Being a ranger, not useless. Are you gonna let her cast healing magic on you?
Sure.
Okay. All right. She heals you 4 hit points. I don't know if you had actually taken damage. Probably.
I think, yeah, I had because the bullet.
Okay.
Brilliant.
Some more feathers fall off,
Oh no.
and the itching kind of subsides a little. Is that any better? She asks, hopefully.
It doesn't hurt anymore.
That's good. That's good.
The feathers aren't great, but they were old ones, I guess.
So Badger, her dire weasel, comes up and just kind of like nudges your hand and puts his head against you.
Can I pick him up?
I don't know, how strong are you?
Not strong.
He's a pretty big animal.
I'm
He's
trying.
big enough for a dwarf to ride, so
Phyllis wants to try anyways.
make
Do
an
it.
athletic check.
Well, shoot. Ah, dropped it. That would be a 10.
Okay. Huh? And Badger does that thing that dogs do when they're like, "What's happening? What's going on right now?" as you're trying to lift him up a little bit, and you lift up like his front half, and he puts his hands in your hands, and then he's kind of dancing with you for a minute.
Yeah, all right. This is calming too. I can dance.
And Narcy's like, "Oh, yeah, if you want to, I'm trying to teach him more tricks, and that can be a fun trick."
All right.
Badger, we're gonna call this dance. And the dire weasel looks at her like, "Hmm?"
This is oddly soothing. So Caleb is just gonna keep sitting there for a while.
All right, you stay here with Caleb, Badger, and I'll go over and work my wiles. She goes over and talks to the dwarves.
I just heard badger, 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 badger.
Snake.
Which is mostly to say she goes over and says, "Hi, I'm Narcy. Where are you coming from?"
Looks like you've been in a fight.
Looks like you've been in a fight. Do you need help? Anyway,
Is Stong back?
Stong, you were at the gates. There are a number of dwarves there, standing there, arms crossed, looking at you,
I cross my arms.
drawing themselves up as big as they can.
I cross my arms, look back at them, and draw myself down a little bit to try to like get further down to like their level.
Okay. You want to make me a charisma check, please?
No, I don't. And I will. Ooh,
That's how
18.
thoughtful Stong is. Oh.
18. All right. So the dwarves are like, well, he doesn't seem to be a threat. And hear a shout go up from up on the gates, and the sound of whizzing crossbow bolts.
Shit.
Whoa. I turn to
And
one of the
dwarves
guards.
spring into action. I go, "Ha!" And I start running up the stone stairs up onto the towers.
Okay.
Want to follow them up?
I
Or
would like
You're left there with
to.
the. Well, okay. There are two dwarves who are specifically there to watch you.
Okay.
They're standing between you and the gates, and then the other dwarves ran up onto the towers.
So originally I was thinking about asking the dwarves like why they feel like they need to watch us so closely, but I think that this emergency warrants a little more attention. So Stong will say, "Hey, if you're under attack, I can help you. Should we go check out what it is?"
They're like, we can handle it. Morden will provide.
Well, can I watch you guys handle it? I've always wanted to see dwarven battle tactics.
You be an outsider. You not watch what we do.
Well, I mean, you kind of are just letting us walk around. I can kind of see the soldiers from down here anyways. I just want a
Is
better
that
view.
what you think? We're not letting you walk around. We're watching you.
Well, and then he
See?
leans like
My
closer.
eyes upon you.
He leans closer to them and he says, "How about you ever get bored on this job? How about you could watch me doing something a little more interesting than just standing here at the gate?"
Hey, bored.
Yeah.
The other one
Like-
looks over at the first one, kind of hopefully.
Yeah.
And he says, "What you have in mind?"
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things I'd like to see here. I've heard that dwarven ale is very famous and delicious, but I've also heard that dwarven battle tactics are a sight to behold. What's more refreshing than a nice ale after a nice bloodbath?
You have a point. And the other one says, "Oh, yeah, I do have a point. Maybe we can make an exception." And the first dwarf says,
Yeah.
"I don't know. Typhon might be upset." And the other one says, "Oh, yeah, she might be upset. We wouldn't want to upset her."
Oh, just tell her it was my idea, because it was.
Oh, yeah, that's what we would have told her, yes.
Well, then we're all in agreement. Let's go.
Well, I guess. All right. So do you want to push up in the gate? Do you want to climb up on one of the towers?
Do they seem like they're like defending the gate, like they're trying to keep the gates closed?
Yes, they are firing crossbow bolts at something outside the gate.
So
I strongly suspect we know what they're firing.
yeah, I also suspect, but
The Stong
Leave
suspect.
off your ball bag. Just firing crossbow bolts.
well, that's why I'm trying to get up to a higher vantage point, so I can confirm with my eyes, what it is.
So it's a switchback, narrow set of steps, obviously designed for a dwarf, not for a giant half orc who's like at least double the size. But yeah, you can climb up there.
All right, I'll give it a try. We're really good
You
at
start-
climbing, and we're really good at doors. So what can go wrong?
Oh my god.
You hurry up there and you see that sure enough they are raining down crossbow bolts on a red-haired elf who is knocking them aside with his sword. And he's like, "Stop that!"
Sorry, shit.
Yeah, I think
Gleaming with flame. And he's like, "Look, we got off on the wrong foot."
Yeah.
Dodging more quarrels.
Yeah, I think Stong is definitely going to shout, "Stop! Those are our friends!"
Wait, I have a question. If we can pretend that they're enemies and then we can fake that we're driving them off, will the dwarves trust us more? So then they'll do Kayla's healing?
That sounds like an excellent Kayla suggestion.
It does. That is peak
Is this what
Kaylin.
beams into my head like at this moment? Like,
I feel like even if Kayla said that to Stong, would he do it?
Helping a friend.
yeah, I guess it depends on how.
You did hear the
Kayla does
conversation where Typhon was like, "Well, it might be difficult to convince the dwarves to help you."
Well, oh man. Okay, I'm gonna do a quick sending to Saorisen right now as I see him, and I'm gonna say, "Hey, buddy, do you mind if I throw you to the dwarves, like literally, and help drive you off to earn their trust so that they'll
Oh my
heal my
God.
friend Kayla's wings? This is completely an original idea that I had on my own right now."
Your sending spell cut off at some point during that message. And the message you get back is, Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead and shoot me with magic or whatever you need, as long as it helps the sisters or Caleb. That's fine.
Great. So let's see. I'm gonna try to make a performance. So it's an 11, and I'm gonna go.
Sarshan is also going to try and make a performance check.
Oh,
Oh
excellent.
my god.
Oh, all right.
So Stong goes, "Oh, good, Zad. That's a really scary looking creature there, and I will help you drive it off." And then he'll like whatever's closest, like a rock or something.
They do have rocks. They have crossbows and quarrels just all over the place, ready. They have javelins, and they have a bucket of some kind of liquid.
Okay. Whoa. Because Stong is a tavern brawler.
A dark, yeah, these are the things that are glowing in your tavern brawler site. You also,
UI.
the dwarves themselves are also starting to glow.
Well, I'm trying to earn their trust, so I don't know how they would
Right.
feel.
I'm
about
not
being
saying
They
you
might
should
love
pick
it.
up a dwarf and throw in, but
It's
you
like
can.
a carnival ride.
And the thing is, when your DM tries to encourage you, you know,
I think the dwarven guards are all wearing like chain armor of various kinds. Yeah, well, it's all kind of, it's uniform. It's chain with some plates on it, but mostly that medium or slightly heavy armor.
okay, I guess
So they're not light, is what I'm saying.
I guess Stong wants to try to make a good show of it, so he'd pick up one of the spears because it's like really
Okay.
visible,
A little
and
javelin.
then his javelin, and then
Dwarf
he's going
size.
to,
Well, for a dwarf, it might be a short spear, but for you, it's definitely a javelin.
so he's gonna take it and then go like, "Die, fiend," and then like throw it to the side, Sarshan.
Okay, what was your performance check?
11.
11. Die, fiend. Ooh.
Die, fiend.
Make an attack roll against AC 10.
Oh no! Wait, but I'm purposefully trying not to hit
Yeah,
him.
AC
Okay.
10 is what you would need to get to miss him convincingly.
Oh boy. All right.
Sarshan, I
A
want you to
tiny
What could
birdie
go
realize.
wants you to
wrong?
roll a 1. Just 'cause it would be
Sarshan,
so
I want you to
funny.
realize has a decent charisma score.
11.
So when he makes performance checks, it's not necessarily terrible.
I rolled an
Got an
11
11?
again.
All right. You threw the spear. It comes really close to him. And he catches the spear under his arm and he goes, ah,
Excellent.
ah, curse you, you dwarven scum. I shall avenge myself upon you. Ah,
Hey.
oh, the pain. Ah, driving me mad. And he
Send
starts
to him.
turning into a wolf as you're watching.
Oh my god.
And the dwarves are like,
He's a lycanthrope.
where be the silver bullet? Where be the silver bullets? Fire the silver quarrels. And Sarshan's like, did you just say silver?
Stong is going to say, "Save your silver. Don't worry. I have special half-orc magic that will take care of this werewolf."
The dwarves seem
Um,
unconvinced. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna roll a persuasion. Is what I'm gonna do. Let's
All
see.
right.
Please. Hey, 17.
This is what happens when the already flamboyant elf gets like a 21 on his performance check. Okay, 17. All right. The dwarves are like, anything. You go on the road, you probably know special
do.
half-orc dwarf magic. Yeah, go for it.
Not only am I a half-orc, but I'm a bard. Bards know everything.
I'm
Like
glad you pointed that
werewolves.
out. I wouldn't have noticed.
So Stong's gonna like wiggle his fingers, and he's gonna say, "Lycan, die." And he just prays that Sarshan understands.
Like a nope.
Yeah, nice.
So
He should have said that.
Sarshan's watching you, and he's like, oh, and he
my
howls
God.
up in the moon, and he's like mostly turned into a wolf, and then he
Oh, nice.
shrinks because he's turning into a wolf, right? And then he starts bounding away, and at that point, like, vines erupt from the ground around where he was, and he narrowly dodges out of the vines, grabbing him. and they start reaching for the gate and crawling up along the gate. And the dwarves are like, whoa, it's lichen magic. He summoned lichen right there.
I didn't know he could do that.
Wow.
Amazing. We narrowly dodged death today. I'm pretty sure I saved everybody here.
Yeah, narrowly dodged death. I think you did. I think we did. Huzzah! Who wants a brandy? And they're like, oh, brandy. And they pass around this little flask.
Oh, thank you. Stong will take a little sip. What does it taste like?
Fire.
Mushrooms.
Just
Rocks? No. It's mushroom brandy.
Yum, yum, yum.
Yeah, it tastes like mushrooms.
Stong goes, okay, interesting. And then he's like, not for you, Mirabelle. And then he hands it back to the
Mirabelle's
dwarves.
like,
No.
Just like dip a pinky in.
A few more years.
Rub
a
it
few
on her
more
gums.
years. Rub it on her gums.
The dwarves are like, be that a 12-year-old child?
This is a 4-year-old child.
12.
12-year-old.
They're
You'd
very
be bringing a tiny bairn with you to the walls. You'd be real brave, and your bairn be brave too. Are those horns? One of the dwarves like touches at her horns. She's like, ah. He's like, ah.
Yeah, she doesn't like it when you do that. You should ask her permission first. I hate it when people touch my baby without asking me.
Yes. Right. You be sticking around for a while. Keep us company on the wall with your half-orc magic.
Sure, but at some point, I do have to get back to my other friends. But and
Other
then he's
friends,
gonna
look downcast.
Oh, he wants to learn all their names, and he's gonna be like, "I want you to tell." Oh man, what's the leader's name?
Okay, chat. What's the leader dwarf's name of these guards? Typhon is the name of the leader of the whole outpost. But I need some dwarf names, chat. Give me a couple dwarf names.
Okay. Well, Stong wants
Somebody
to...
recommended Diesel. I think Diesel's a good dwarf name.
Diesel was what the brandy tastes like.
The brandy taste, yeah.
I think it's also a good dwarf name. So
Diesel.
Yeah, Diesel brews the brandy.
So Stong basically just wants to let them know that they owe him a favor, and that favor should be helping one of his friends who's in dire need.
Thank you, chat, for putting them all D names. There's Diesel, Dungan, Denzel. That one's real handsome, by the way.
Danathon. Danbot.
And Diesel's brother, Diesel.
Well, I think you
Thank
got all
for
the
that,
dwarf names
Saorisen.
right there. These are all the guard names, too. Okay.
Also, Dumpy and Drowsy are both on the wall. Okay, so. All right, you befriend the dwarves, and they say, oh, yeah, we'd love to help you. That'd be great. Stay here all day.
Okay.
Anyway, so morning services at the Temple of Sharinlar finally end, and the priests start filing out. Many of them look happy, and they're like, kind of like, oh, well, we did what we were supposed to do. But you said some of you were doing a long rest, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
All right, so
that's the idea.
you have fallen asleep by this point. Who was not taking a long rest?
Oh, Rogar
Sturge, if Sturge is not copying a spell, then he
You can
would
do a spell during your long rest if you want to.
Okay.
That's
Well, he
okay.
has some really good ones for Caleb. Caleb, do you have this spell? And he shows her this spell which allows you to make a reasonable suggestion to someone which they normally wouldn't follow, but they will. It's most wonderful. It doesn't just last like for a moment. It lasts for a long time. So if you say, I think you should just turn around and walk home, they'll do it, even if it takes them an hour. That's pretty cool.
I think you should put both your hands over your eyes.
and keep
Oh
them there,
yeah. Hmm.
no matter what you hear.
That sounds like a very dangerous spell.
Sort of
Yeah,
concerned that
You
Sturgeon's
want
been
it,
casting
don't
this.
you?
Vile.
Caliph, you hear Aiden's voice in the back of your head going, "That's enchantment is the worst sort of magic, and I'll tell you why."
Oh, that's right. That's enchantment magic, isn't it?
It is, yes. It's a defensive spell, really.
It's defensive. Yeah, it's not
Defensive.
offensive in any way.
I think you would find it very useful in certain hopeless situations.
Can Caliph retaliate by showing him a necromancy spell?
Yeah, absolutely.
Will you take a necromancy spell?
I'm more interested in utility things. I have, for instance, this one which allows you to see the invisible. Would that be more to your liking? If you don't like enchantment.
Yeah.
Excellent. Necromancy does not attract my desire or interest the way that more utilitarian things like spells that would allow me to climb on the side of buildings with my bare hands, or
What's not utilitarian about necromancy?
Yes.
I already have a spell which allows me to summon a servant, an invisible servant. I can't really see any other way. Besides, I'm not really strong enough to do the really cool necromancy stuff like animating a corpse. I'm not quite strong enough for that yet. Second tier is what we're talking
Wait, so question, by second tier, you mean like second?
level. Yeah.
Hmm.
Those are actually my favorite spells in the book. All are really second level spells.
All mine are 9th level.
I'm just imagining like a spin-off show where with Sturge and Caliph, they're just goading each other on to like the worst possible behaviors.
They should have been
That's
an
what
arena
we
team
do without
themselves.
Rogar.
All right, so you're
Uh.
comparing spells during your rest.
Mhm.
So the day passes. Stong eventually comes back.
And Artemisia, she's going to try to see if she can find a time when Cecilia is still sleeping or
Well,
goes to the privy
I
or
was gonna say I don't technically need a long rest because I got my spells back on my short rest and I took my healing surge or whatever it's called now. And Cecilia's been having sleeping problems, so I think maybe while you're sleeping, I get up and I go see if I can find Stong, which may involve wandering around.
Oh,
Potentially involves using my seeming spell to look like a dwarf, very tall dwarf, a sort of tall dwarf. I don't know how tall do dwarves get.
Mid 4 feet,
So yeah, it's a dwarf height. I could do
4'6",
that.
4'10", that kind
Thinking
of
about
height.
it. But if these dwarven guards won't stop following me, then maybe I can't do that without.
You hear a
causing
dog
extra
barking,
power.
and you go look for where the dog.
To see if that dog is Ruan or Saorisen. I am still a little sleep deprived.
Okay, I'm going to do a couple of things, and then we're going to do our break. So, Cecilia, as you're walking off, a sparrow lands on your shoulder.
Okay, that's weird. We've got to use my beast speech to be like, "What's up, friend?"
Don't freak out, sister. It's me.
Oh, wow! How many things can you turn into?
I'm a druid. Any beast I want, really.
That's handy.
It
Where's-
is.
What happened? Where's Sarshan?
Funny story.
God, nothing that starts that way is a good thing. What's up?
And you see Stong coming back with a bunch of other dwarves, and they're obviously a little bit tipsy, and they're like, scared off the scary wolf elf
Oh no!
with a mighty throw, and he summoned his lichen all over the gate. And Ruan's
Okay.
like, that happened.
Oh my God!
They put on a little show, but now Stong is the friend of the dwarves.
I guess that's good. What? Where? What? So, do we need to get Sarshan?
Oh, you're worried about him, are you?
No, I mean, no. Don't say it like that. That's weird.
Oh, you're concerned about him, are you?
You're concerned about Rogar. What's all this? Oh no, what if Rogar's mad at me?
The bird basically goes, falls off your shoulder.
So like the bird popping in Shrek.
The feathers like everywhere.
What's going on there?
I mean, Cecilia is, she can talk to animals, she can sing to animals, she can explode with her mind.
She's the scariest Disney princess ever.
So
Yeah,
Ruan hops off and then flaps off.
I didn't say leave.
Yeah, I know, but he left.
I know. I figured.
You flustered him and he fluttered off. So
I'm gonna follow him, see where he went.
okay. So Cecilia is looking for Saorisen. Stong, you come back to the group. You think you saw Cecilia, or maybe it was just a really tall dwarf. You're not really sure.
I didn't actually cast that, but I could because it would be
Didn't know
funny.
dwarves came that tall.
I don't know. He's had a lot of diesel mushroom brandy.
Oh, okay. So it's not the seeming; it's just
It's the hallucinating
it's,
from the
it's
diesel.
brandy goggles.
Right.
Hey.
I mean, I say it tastes like diesel, but it's more like it tastes like lamp oil. So, which you can drink. It will cause you to die eventually.
Good to
Can is
know.
pulling a lot of
Anyway.
weight there.
Viewers, don't
Can-
try it.
Possible to put it in your mouth and swallow it.
The word
Yes.
can is doing a lot of work. in
Any
that sentence.
children watching this, don't try it.
Yeah, that's right.
Lamp
Don't
oil.
drink lamp oil or diesel fuel.
Don't listen to Uncle Eric
And probably not mushrooms either. Okay.
or rocks.
Oh, eventually, Rogar,
Right.
a priestess from the Temple of Sharinlar, comes to where you are hanging out with everyone else.
Oh, well,
And this dwarf woman is very, very lovely, a very beautiful dwarven woman. She has long, flowing, flaxen hair. She has parted her beard in a very artistic way that registers as she is not married and open for business. That's what that means among dwarves.
Oh,
That's
It
a
could also
relationship
mean-
status on like. I'd love to see it on like social media. Open.
It
for
could also
business.
mean that she is simply a priestess of Sharinlar, because that is frequently how they present themselves, as a young, beautiful, unmarried, and available.
Hmm.
Yes, single and ready to mingle. Thank you, chat. That's accurate. Anyway, she
Right.
comes up to you and she says, "Oh, Rogar,
Sharindar's grace on you.
Sharinlar's grace upon ye as well. I am Runa Velm. I'm the second priestess of the temple, and I am here to fetch you for your business that you have at the temple."
Thank you. Must bring my friend Caleth along, for she is the one who needs the healing.
Your friend Caleth, she looks around. Oh, I see. Yeah, well, perfect. I was hoping you might be talking about your wife, eh? But you didn't be married, do you?
Oh, I did not be married.
Ah, well, the fertile lady gives her blessings to all within time, yes?
Aye, she does. She does.
Of course. You two be coming with me, and I'll take you to the temple.
Very
Do you
good,
have
thank you.
any... Hey, who is that lovely dwarf lass over there? Does she not have a beard? And Narcy's like, "Oh, hi."
That's Narcy.
She comes over and shakes Runa's hand. I'm Narcy. Rogar and I aren't married or sleeping together. And Runa's like,
Or
"Oh,
just-
that's a good thing to meet you then."
I love nerds. Like straight to the facts. What do you need to
Just the
know?
facts, ma'am.
Just friends.
Narcy, Narcy, I don't know, Narcy. If you would like some guidance from the Temple of Sharindlar, I'm sure they can arrange, a love match for you in no time.
Oh, that's not really important. Narcy says, "I'm not really looking to put down roots." And Runa says, "But you've been doing your business for the lady, for the continuance of the dwarven race, huh? And Narcy says, well, actually, I'm a mountain dwarf. And Runa says, oh, come along, Rogar.
Real quick, Rogar, what does your beard signal to the rest of the dwarven community?
Good question.
I have plain iron bands, so they don't have any clan or family markings on them, so they know that I do not know my family or my clan, and it's also split in two, so they know that I am single and unmarried at this time.
Yeah.
So Runa was obviously asking a very pointed question, and then yeah, I mean, those are the primary things. Normally, you can tell a family and a clan, and often too the primary skill or occupation from the beard. And my occupation is pretty self-evident by my clerical tabard.
You're the giant floating heart hammer.
I'm a giant floating heart hammer. Aye.
Does signaling you're unmarried and signaling you're like, as Eric put it, open for business, are those separate signals? Like I'm not married and I'm looking, or is it the same thing?
It's especially right now with the desperate need to repopulate the dwarven race. It's the same thing. If you're single,
Gotcha.
Why are you still single? If you're of
So you're telling
baby-making age?
everybody that you're looking when you're not looking.
It's as far as they're concerned, like I sort of, and it's also once you get past a certain age, there's an increasing amount of judgment. Like what are you still doing single and not out there making babies? We need babies. So,
right. Well,
I feel like there's probably a spell we can just like make a baby. Oof, there you go.
Moradin gave his blessing, the thunder blessing.
You with questions.
That was long ago.
Runa peppers you with questions as you go to the temple.
Aye.
And we'll pick up with the temple after the break. But before we go to our break, two things. One, as soon as the temple doors close behind them, the basically soundproof temple doors, you hear the rest of the party, you hear an alarm go up, like echoing horns from down in that cave that you saw the dwarves coming out of earlier. And you see soldiers, the soldiers who are watching you are like, and they start sort of making their way over to the cave. So you think that something's going down. And so we will pick up with the crisis in the cave and the ritual to Sharinlar after the break. Also, I will be interviewing Rhiannon about a thing. So don't go away. Just a few minutes, come back, and we'll have that for you. Hail and well met. I'm back here with Rhiannon Held, player of Artemisia, and she is going to tell us a little bit about the story that she wrote. And I'll just go right into it. What story is this that you're telling us about? How did you start it, etc.?
So links in the chat, and then later on the videos, it'll be in the description, etc. So I ran a contest a couple weeks ago where I had people answer trivia about Artemisia. I'm sorry, those were the answers I knew the best. And then the winners got to submit to me a character that they wanted to have meet the Westgate Irregulars in a story. And then they got to pick some things like what they wanted to have happen. And I tried to sort of work that in. And as it turned out, the story already had like a whole bunch of characters anyway. So I was able to get some of the runners up also have their characters in there too. So even if you didn't win, check it out. So how I started it was kind of interesting because one of the first entries had like who their character was already, as well as their answers, and they didn't end up being the winner, but I was sort of already thinking about that person's character and like how they would bounce off the irregulars and all that sort of thing. And from there, I sort of actually ended up building the world first. since it's not Forgotten Realms, because I wanted to make it completely available to everybody. So I didn't want any copyright issues, but it's a original world I made up. So what I don't always do this, but what I ended up doing was I thought about what would the Westgate Irregulars be like, and how would they be interesting, intense, and chaotic as we are in a new world.
You engaged in the time-honored tradition of filing the serial numbers off.
No, I did not. Not quite. You guys can judge for yourselves. Let me know if you read it and you're like, oh yeah, I could totally tell this used to be Forgotten Realms or not. But my hope was that this will be something completely its own thing, rather than serial numbers filed off. And then based on the world, I decided then what kind of things might happen in that world. What kind of problems might that world have that the Westgate Irregulars and the, Doug's character, he was the winner, that could encounter.
So how did you go about translating the characters to this world that you created?
So I knew first that I wanted to do something magic-based, because we are all magic-based.
That's true. Magic all of you are spellcasters.
Yes. Magic is interesting. There is a reason I always play sorcerers. So then I wanted to think about a type of magic that could have a lot of variety, because we are also very different kind of characters. And so I hit upon the idea of having sort of each person is touched by a different kind of spirit, because that then allows their magic to be sort of different for each person based on what kind of spirit it is. So once I figured that out, the others can attest, I sort of went around being like, so if your character was an animal, what animal would your character be? And I didn't always use, people said more than one thing sometimes. I didn't always use like the first thing they said, but I definitely took into account some of the stuff that they suggested. So
cool. So I know you're an archaeologist in real life. So obviously archaeology worked its way into your story somehow. So
Yes.
Why don't you tell us about it?
So the other thing that I often like to do with my worlds is to imagine the far future, and to call it post-apocalypse makes people sort of assume like it's Mad Max and we're still like fighting right now. And the most interesting post-apocalypse to me are ones where we're like several centuries in the future, so that those people's archaeology is us now. And so in around sort of the edges of this story, you just catch it at the edges. What you'll see is remains of our world now, but it's been adapted by people in the future, because it always sort of, it's boring to me a little bit where archaeology in completely original fantasy worlds, it sort of like becomes this sort of like shrine of the ancestors or something like that. And I love playing around with the idea that people will sort of adapt it or knock down a wall because it's in their way, or they don't really care like that the ancestors built this, like they're gonna like sort of chip it away and make it something useful to them now. So when you're looking at the edge of the world and the story, try to see if you think you can figure out what sort of things from our modern world have been carried forward into the world of the story.
And awesome. Did you run into any challenges in the course of making the story?
So the challenge, I think the biggest one that I had was the ensemble cast, because I didn't want to, give anybody too little attention, and I definitely wanted to get everybody in there. But there definitely can sort of be a sort of feeling of, I don't know, a Miss America contest or something, where it's like you lay out a scene and then this is our first contestant, and she is from Aglarond, and her hobby is playing the harmonica, and then this is our second contestant. And so I definitely didn't want to fall into that with any of the characters, especially the characters from the winners and the runners-up. I wanted their characters to have things to do on screen and feel a part of the world, and not just sort of coming on, sort of trotting across the stage for their introduction. So I spent a lot of time and attention on thinking about how can I meet characters in their natural habitat and describe them in a way that's not a checklist of the sort of like hair, eyes, where are you from, what's your hobby, but what is sort of the most interesting aspect of this person and what hits you first about them that's unique about this particular character.
Awesome. Well, good. Thank you for telling us all about that. I think we're probably ready to go back into the game. The link for that story is down there in the chat somewhere, or on our site, or somewhere. DungeonScrawlers.com would be a good place to find
DungeonScrawlers.com,
it.
and I can also put it in the chat again.
I'm sure, yeah, you can do that, or one of the mods can do it. Whatever happens. Anyway, but yeah, go check it out. We're gonna do more things like this, I hope, in the future. So this is a big experiment. If you like it, great. Let us know. If you want to see something else, you have other suggestions, let us know those too. We do this partly for you all, so we want you to be involved. And to that point, I am going to take a brief moment to describe the complex web of relations, because the chat is discussing it right now.
Oh, and also next week, I wanted to make sure that we said Randy is going to talk in this space after the break about dwarves, because he made up so much cool stuff. He gets to talk about them next week.
Right. This is a great, this session, think of this as your introduction to the dwarves of our particular game, and then Randy will be telling you all about it next week. There'll be more dwarf stuff next week too. But let's see. So I just want to run through this real fast. Artemisia and Cecilia have the same mother. Okay, not the same father. They are half sisters. Ruan, the elf druid, also has the same mother, not the same father. Ruan thinks, but isn't certain, that he and Calith have the same father. So he theoretically is Calith's half brother, and Artemisia and Cecilia's half brother as well. Saorisen is not related to any of them.
Crazy things those elves get up to.
Yeah.
I always call my books sword and soap opera, kind of as a joke, but I think you just beat me.
This campaign is kind of a sword and soap opera game.
Love sword and soap opera.
Sword and
Well,
soap.
you know,
We need a long-lost twin.
That was the thing that Anna was talking
and a secret
about.
baby.
Someone has amnesia.
Putting all the characters together and introducing them and making them all have space, and different characters in this game have different arcs and different interests and slightly different tones, and so putting that all together has been really interesting.
When it's sweeps week, can we find Sturge's secret baby? Because that's the best secret baby in this group. That would be the one that would blow my mind.
There was a secret twin, and that was. But
That's true. You had the long lost twin.
Yeah,
He
died.
did.
He died. So
Buried in the rose garden.
there, yeah, he'll come back.
They always come back. Anyway, so
Yeah.
but
Sometimes
okay, so
is better.
we're rewinding from our story a little bit. So Cecilia has gone off to go investigate some things, chase after Ruan, I believe it was. And Artemisia, you wake up and realize that Cecilia is not there. And Calith isn't there. Rogar isn't there. They've already left. Stong is snoring away, and Mirabelle is lying on his chest and snoring away. Like his chest is lifting her.
Tiny
she's
kid
like-
snores are the best.
Yeah. You are the only one who is awake, except for Sturge, who is reading a book, perched over it like a bird, right? All knees and elbows and ankles.
Cheeky nose.
Yep, he's definitely copying a spell. Calith, is it detect thoughts or is it arcane lock?
Calith is off. She's
Oh,
gone.
yep.
She's taking her
And
spell.
the only one who is there and awake is Artemisia.
Yeah. So Artemisia is gonna like look around, make sure that's all true, and then she's gonna get Cecilia's bag, and she's gonna pull it over to where she's sitting, and then she's gonna open it up.
So Sturge, you notice that Artemisia has grabbed Cecilia's bag and is
And
looking
she's-
through it.
Really bad at being sneaky, like
Right.
atrociously bad at being
Right.
sneaky.
He acts like he doesn't notice, but he's very curious.
And she also from her own bag has gotten out her little notebook, like she wants to copy something herself. So she's going through the bag, and you'll notice that like she doesn't particularly worry about making sure that things like don't get all like chaotic and tossed around, because like
why would
figures they're pretty tossed around
what it
already in
looks
there.
like, yeah.
So she kind of pulls everything out, and she comes up with a letter, and then she comes up with the second letter, and then she gets them, and she sort of like looks at them. So clearly she was expecting only one letter. So she takes that letter and she like quick scribbles down the address that it came from, because she wanted that. But so then she puts it away and she puts the other stuff away. But then she's looking at the second letter, and she looks around again, see if anybody's there. Okay. So then she opens it up and tries to read it, and clearly it is not working. Clearly she cannot read this letter. So she kind of closes it a little and then sort of like sits there like she's having this gigantic internal argument with herself about what she does now with this letter.
Where is the letter exactly?
It's right now it's in her hands, but it's sort of like loosely held because she haven't decided to put it away yet.
You could definitely sneak over to her and look over her shoulder.
Well, I think what he's going to do is just send his invisible mage hand over.
Of course.
And do a distraction and remove it from her hand without her being able to notice it. It's hard to do this, but he has a really good sleight of hand. So.
She's like looking at
You're
it.
literally looking at the letter right now.
Yeah. She's literally reading it.
So this is like a Metal Gear Solid thing. Where you just like,
she's got it in her hand.
Remote control hand. And it goes and picks up like a rock and it just tosses it. And Artemisia goes, huh? And then your hand grabs it. Make a sleight of hand check.
Okay, here it comes. This is one of my favorite rolls. Because, does he have advantage because of the distraction?
No.
Okay, well, he rolled a 15.
Okay. What is your passive perception, Artemisia?
No, it's only 11.
Oh,
So.
well, he made off with the note.
So I just put it in my book, and I...
So Artemisia, you look back, you're no longer holding the note.
And
But
now
Sturge is the only person there.
I haven't moved. I'm still
Brazen.
in my book.
This is brazen,
But,
Sturge.
but now I'm reading the letter.
It's just Full Metal Sturge over there.
Yeah.
Well, Artemisia is going to look like absolutely panicked because she was not supposed to be reading this letter. She already thought that like Cecilia would not be happy with her, and now she has lost it, and Cecilia will notice. And who was the only person who knew that she had this letter? Artemisia. So she's gonna like shoot to her feet and like look around, and since you are the only person awake, Sturge, she's gonna look over at you. I suppose you look completely innocent.
Yes.
What do I roll to have her disbelieve his innocence?
Oh, do I have to make
Insight check.
Insight. All right.
PvP. Let's
Knowing
go.
Sturge?
Yeah, right. you get.
I'll just
triple
assign this a
advantage.
DC.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the 13.
Player versus player. Let's go.
Okay, so she got a 13. So, Stephen, why don't you tell me how successful you think that would be? Like, what does she pick up from you? This is how PvP things tend to work.
She is in freak out mode. She is not perceiving well. Right? She's got tunnel vision. You get, when you start to panic. And so I'm thinking she doesn't say anything.
There are alternatives here.
Sturge is going to raise an eyebrow, look over and say, "You're being very distracting right now. I'm trying to come."
What a way with people you've got.
I think that she has tunnel vision. She's gonna like fixate on like who she thinks is the most likely culprit.
Well,
However,
the only one who talked with you is the sneaky bastard.
So,
Do you have little spectacles that you balance on the end of your nose? So they're like 8 inches away from your eyes.
that would be hilarious. They'd have to be really big so that
Yeah, really big.
well, So Artemisia is going to come over and she's going to try to read over your shoulder.
And he's going to
Got a
say,
magnifying glass balanced on your nose.
so he's going to have the letter there in his book, and he's going to not try to hide it. And he's going to say, yes, I can see why this was frustrating to you. It isn't in a language that we use, is it?
Well, so I could read the alphabet, but it makes no sense. Like, so I assume it's Russian. Oh, explain it. So don't you can't. I wasn't
Why don't we
supposed
ask
to.
Cecilia. We'll just ask Cecilia to read it to us.
Yeah, a very bad idea. But okay, so will you swear on something that you will not let her know that I told you this or tell anybody else?
Well, to be quite honest, I'm curious what it says too. But you do owe me one now, don't you? You'll owe me twice, because not only will I translate it, but I'll keep your secret. Say yes.
Sturgis'
You
way
know
with
you're
people.
going to say yes because you have no choice in the matter, and you're as curious as I am.
Only to help her. You see,
Precisely.
there were-
Precisely.
there was something else, and it turned out that she was having some trouble, and now I can help her, and I'm worried that this letter says something like that too. So that's the only reason that I'm agreeing to this. But I'm agreeing to this.
What is your worry? Can you tell me that
My worry that
about your sister?
that
By the way, I know more than you think I do.
that she'll get so angry that she'll never speak to me again.
No. What is the thing you're worried is going to hurt your sister?
She, I guess, has been having nightmares because of that year she was away, and I'm worried that something else happened during that time. You said heart of the, well, you didn't say heart of the piercing, but you almost said heart of the piercing. I'm worried that she had to do something bad
Oh.
for the heart of the piercing, but she'd never admit it.
Oh, yes. All right. Let's see what this says. And so he's going to cast. No, it would be really cruel to do it as a ritual, which takes 10 minutes. but he won't. He'll cast it and read it, and he'll read it. He'll have to come close, and he'll read it out loud, quietly, making sure no one else is around.
Wait, what did you cast? Sorry, I missed it.
Comprehend languages, so he can. It'll take him a minute to read a page, but if he touches the page, he can read. He can't read the symbols, but he will put his brain on it with a investigation.
And for anybody who wants to, the letter itself is actually on dungeonscrawlers.com.
I dropped the
so-
link in case
Oh, okay.
people wanted it.
Yeah, I haven't been in chat for a minute.
Okay, Aaron, be prepared because I'm going to ask you
Okay,
what they gleaned from the letter based on his result.
interesting.
Ooh.
Right. So the it's not a great investigation. 11.
All right, so you got all the words. They do appear to be kind of difficult to understand. Like you're not sure what it's supposed to mean.
Mhm.
You understand what the words individually mean, but you don't necessarily understand the full context. It's a code of some kind. What'd you get on your check?
11.
11. Okay.
Investigation, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say this particular letter is not the best at being sneaky about being circumspect. The writer is definitely looking for information. And you can gather from the sort of the Rashemi, when they write letters, are trying to be sort of secretive about what they're actually talking about, because people read your mail in the realms. And in particular, the Witch Laren and the Vermiani are like expecting that. So there's a lot of like references that only you and the letter writer will get to talk about other things. And so this one isn't terribly good at hiding it. There is this is a letter from one of the Wicklaren, the masked witches, and they are looking for someone that they think it might be hiding in Westgate. The letter is not addressed to Cecilia. It is addressed to someone named Brannis Olmakina, who seems to be one of the masked wizards, the Vremyani. But also the letter writer is like, I don't think that's your real name. I don't know who you are. But yeah, I think you can figure out from that, just because, especially because it isn't being terribly good at obfuscating, that there's a concern that this Brannis person, who is apparently living in Briarhouse, is hiding someone. The marks on the bottom, there are symbols for the letter writer and symbols for the person that they're writing to. There are also a series of symbols on the bottom. They are probably, you don't know what those mean, but there's an eye and a sort of directional arrow that might mean like looking for something or discovering something or watching for something. There is something that looks like water or maybe a snake with an arrow going across it. So maybe you jump over a worm. And there's a picture of a hand holding a bird. So
did you say that Brannis is a fake name for someone staying in Briarhouse?
It says at the top, to be read by Brannis Olmakina, but the first thing that the letter writer says is, "You're unknown to us, brother," which is very curious since you have a Vremyani mark.
To Brannis Olmakina.
Basically.
And what kind of mark?
A Vremyani. So there are symbols on these letters that say this is who's writing to you. So the Hathrin has a mark, and then there's a mark for the person she's writing to. And she makes a metaphor about a caterpillar pretending it's a snake, but a bird knows. That makes you think that she definitely is not buying whatever this is. So somebody is looking for someone who might be being hidden, and I think that's probably what you got.
Sure, that makes sense.
But
so there's intrigue afoot.
Someone who's in Briarhouse is being searched. Look, someone's looking for that person.
That's the person in Briarhouse is hiding someone, is what they think.
Oh, and if we assume that person is Cecilia, they don't even have the gender right on this, because they call this person brother.
Well, that's who supposedly wrote to them. So.
Okay, so this
It is true.
So
it does say that this person wrote a letter to the Vremyani at Running Rocks, and they were answered, but they don't have the answer. They have the letter that was sent originally. And so they know this Brannis person wrote a letter to Running Rocks, but they don't know what they said back. And the Vremyani are like, no, we told him that guy's not here. We definitely said that.
So perhaps Ruan or Saorisen is the person being hidden in Briarhouse? That seems reasonable.
Well, I mean,
draw whatever conclusions you want.
Yeah, and we can probably make more conclusions later. Are you sharing that with Artemisia?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And then he just hands it back to her.
Drew more conclusions than you think he did.
Well, because if you share that with Artemisia, rightly or wrongly, her instantly is going to be like, they're looking for Cecilia? Why would they be looking for Cecilia?
They do. One thing that's in there too is that they do say the Wicklerin's reach can extend even so far as Westgate if it must. So there is an implied threat here.
Yeah.
Right.
So the people at Running Rock are these witches. And they want something that Cecilia's hiding, or they want Cecilia. Okay.
Yeah. Artemisia thinks that they're after Cecilia. That's the conclusion she jumps to.
Okay. I don't know if I would share that conclusion, Artemisia, but it could be her brother or her,
Why would the Rashemi care about Ruan?
No idea.
Anyway, she's going to take the letter back. Like, this has gone on too long. Cecilia's going to be coming back. She's going to put it back in the bag.
All right.
And she has her notebook with Vescaris's address, which is what she wanted all along, so she doesn't have to wait for Cecilia to write to him. So,
Okay. You're thirsty.
Nothing happened here.
Okay, so I'm going to go to the temple. We're going to do the ritual stuff. So,
stuff.
Rogar and Calith, you, Runa shows you to the Temple of Sharinlar, where there are a number of priests. They are kind of simply attired, but they're very well put together. Their beards are braided very nicely. Like I said, some of them have many of them have the beard signal of, hey, maybe we should get together. Who knows?
So just to be clear, like most police of Sharinlar, especially acolytes, are in that state because we participate in many, many rituals, group rituals with the dwarven population, and it's very possible that Rogar has a number of children out there someplace.
Say, are
because
you
he
the
has-
secret? You're the one with the secret baby?
I might be the one with the
Good
secret
day.
baby because I have done my duty by my people a number of times.
Sharinlar is the goddess of love, courtship, and fertility.
Although that bit's a bit kept on the down low, typically outside.
They've sort of dispensed with the love and courtship part, haven't they? They're just like, come on, we got to need to get some babies going on.
Well,
Rogar, breeder
I don't know if
Bairn.
Rogar has explained the plight of the dwarves, and Randy and I will be talking about this next week. But the reproduction rates among the dwarves are very low, and that is a significant issue with the dwarves being so severely depopulated after the various calamities of the last century. So that is partly why the Church of Sharinlar is so powerful now. Runa introduces you to a slightly older dwarf woman who she introduces as Nethris Undar. She has pristine clothes. She's very neat. She seems kind of like studious, sagely, like a kind of cute middle-aged librarian, right? And she's like, "Oh, you must be Rogar Battlebairn. Welcome. The Holy Mother told us to expect you. You've
High
arrived
Priestess,
early."
I have come on a separate matter. This
A
is my
separate
friend.
matter.
This is my friend Calith, and
Your friend.
my just friends.
And
And
I see.
she her wings are in need of healing, and I unfortunately I think it is something that will require the full power of the temple and not just a single cleric such as myself.
And you wish us to bestow Sharinlar's healing light upon an outsider.
I very much so.
And Runa goes, well, she seems to be a person of good heart. Like, she's a little more reserved around the head priestess. And Rogar, you want to make an insight check for me?
Insight 17.
Okay, and deferential. Like, yes, High Priestess, you know best. But yeah, these are good people. I think you'd like them. But, it's your call. And the High Priestess looks over Calith with an exacting eye. She kind of gnaws on her fingernails while she looks at you. And she says, "From whence do you come, elven lass?"
from the city of Westgate.
"From the city of Westgate. I did not know of any elven enclaves in Westgate."
Well, before then, I came from a renowned university.
A renowned university, is it? Which renowned university do you mean?
The one with the fire.
I forgot to make up a name.
You just kind of stammer a little bit.
Yeah, she probably wouldn't want to actually mention the name because, like, well, if I say I'm there and they know someone put it down,
All right, well, come inside. I'll inspect you.
Thank
Did
you,
you
High
see
Priestess.
what happened earlier? By the way, a friend of ours, valiantly defended this outpost against the attacking werewolf.
I have been busy with the business of Sharinlar all day. I haven't had time to check at would-be invaders of our fortress. I'm sure the guards have done their job very well. And Runa says, yeah, I'm sure they have. Come along. The head priestess kind of like crooks her finger at Caliph.
All right.
Unless you wish me to inspect you in the street.
No. Caleb very meekly follows along. Well, maybe not very meekly. But
Runa kind of blushes a little bit, which Rogar, you notice. And then she sees you and she's like,
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So they go into the temple. Do you go with them? You follow Randy?
please,
Uh,
please
yeah.
do.
Oh, hi.
Yeah,
Hi,
Caleb looks back at you like,
Hi, of course I do. But I'm a little like as I go in, I'm like because like outside of the temple, it's just like they have a bunch of like healing herbs and stuff like that, like gardens full of herbs and it's just it's like the smell of home to me. So it's kind of bittersweet. Yeah, so I'm walking inside the temple. I'm also a little walking the temple, but I do so for my friend Caliph. Here we go.
okay. All right. So the temple is, why don't you tell us what the temple looks like, Randy?
Well, the temple is built into the side of like the bluff of the that separates the lower plateau from the upper plateau. So most of and you've noticed like as we've been walking past the buildings, like a lot of these buildings seem very small, even for a dwarf to live in, and that's because almost all of the buildings actually like what you see on the surface is just like the tip of it, and most of the dwarven homes and etc. are built into the ground, so they go down rather than up. And so the temple right now it seems like a fairly small space. We enter and we see a giant statue of Sharinlar offering her blessing to us, and in front of that an altar where you can leave offerings and tithes. And there's kind of see that there's a door behind the statue, and to our left there's a door that's open. It looks like into some kind of audience chamber with like a slight dais and a chair on it.
What do you leave an offering to Charlene?
Well, it's really
What's
to
she like?
what does she like? She likes money. I think
Temples have expenses.
temples
how
have
interesting.
expenses,
She likes expressions of love.
right? But no, mostly it's
She
like,
likes first
On the altar?
I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Actually,
Spicy,
yes.
spicy.
yes, the temple, the altar is large enough to honor her with acts of love. But so yes, I mean in general, Sharinlar appreciates service and so donations of healing resources that can be used for healing and she appreciates acts of love and kindness to others, and all of those are signs of devotion that increase her presence. And but the temple likes money because it has expenses.
As they
it has
do.
to,
Yeah.
yes. So
You
Overhead.
put the money on the altar.
The overhead
Charlene
that'll kill ya.
takes all the good feelings out of it, and then the temple gets to use it. That's how it works.
all right. I mean that's just and so that's been a source of. I mean this is anyway. I can get into it. Like that's been a source of why some source of tension between the temples as Charlene has risen in prominence because she's diverting some of the donations and pilgrims that used to go to some of the other temples. So, but that's when we start getting into all my wonky.
So
That's
the
next week.
the high priestess, she looks to Caliph and she says, "Well, this robe."
Ooh, la la.
Rogar, is this okay?
Oh, she only wants to inspect your wings so she can determine the best means to heal them. That is
All right.
correct.
Of course.
Of course.
All right, Caliph disrobes.
And she gestures to the altar.
Okay.
Oh, don't you be so shy, winged girl. Lie down.
All right. Lying down.
You'll be silly on your stomach. I need to look at your wings.
Okay.
Okay.
Are the wings.
So it's like they put a towel over you. It's like a massage parlor, right?
A
Anyway,
professional.
it's not a towel. It's like a thin, filmy fabric, right? Like a vestments almost. Anyway, and then she inspects your wings. Runa stands there next to Rogar, with her head down, but she's like peeking up at you periodically, at you and the high priestess. What she's doing. The priestess kind of like inspects your wings, and she waves her hands over them, and she's intoning prayers to Shorinlar, and she's running her fingers through her beard periodically. And she's like, you have some manner of powerful curse about you, lass.
Yeah, I've figured that already, but is it something that can be gotten that you can get rid of?
Mayhap.
Is Shorinlar up to the challenge?
She looks back to Rogar and she says, "Is this the boon ye'd ask of us?"
Aye. This is the boon I'd ask of you. Did you heal her wings? To restore them as they should be.
Very well. We can start the ritual and finish when the moon is full at midnight.
All right. So I'm assuming we're probably going to go down into the ritual area. Or...
She looks back to Kayla. She says, You can use that cloth to cover yourself if you wish.
So we're going to be here for a few hours.
Runa, have her leathers cleaned for her, if you will. And the priestess says, Yes, priestess, of course. She comes and collects the leathers, and she looks back at you briefly as she's walking away. But Rogar, with your passive perception, you're pretty sure she looked at the high priestess, not at Caliph. And she heads off. The high priestess looks back at you and says, Well, the power of Shorinlar can do this great miracle for you. I have utter faith in her blessings.
As do I. That's why I brought her here.
Yes. In the meantime, you must tell me of your mission and your ministrations in, what is this city? Westgate, you called it?
Aye, Westgate. It is a city much in need of ministrations, I assure you.
Tell me, have you found a suitable subject of these ministrations? She's on her fingernails idly while she says that.
Subject?
A wife, Rogar. A wife. Or a lover. Or several lovers.
I've been a little bit busy, actually, for that.
The goddess does bid us be fruitful and multiply after all.
Aye, and she also has seen fit to give me a very important mission in order to find and defeat the Bogglewomps.
Oh, she has?
Aye, she has. And I tell her about my vision. There I was, asleep in my bed. Suddenly, I was lifted up, and I floated above, and I saw the Bogglewomps, and fast forward. And I woke up and threw out my arms, and a guiding bolt shot from my hands. I was given the power of Shorinlar. I knew at that moment
Enough.
that vision had come from. Okay. Yes, High Priestess.
She gnaws on her fingernails a little more, and then she moves over to you and she says, Rogar, are you quite all right? You're talking nonsense.
Not nonsense. I have seen the Bogglewomps, High Priestess. They are very real.
Rogar, I can tolerate your madness for a bit, but only for a bit. I'm doing you this favor. The least you could do is not tell me these things. I worry for the state of your soul and your power.
Ceàrdach would not have given me this power and this vision if she did not wish for me to pursue it. Aye?
She says, are you sure this vision truly comes from Ch31? Did you not make up this vision yourself?
No, I did not make up this vision.
And then you hear the doors behind you slam open. And this loud male dwarf voice says, where is he? Where is Rogar Battlebairn? And you look around.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it on that.
Do I recognize the voice?
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, okay. That would be too cruel. Oh, you do recognize that voice, and it is the voice of a dwarf who was a fellow acolyte of yours from many, many years gone. A rival, if you will, a bully, if you will.
Oh.
One who always thought himself more worthy and more powerful than you.
Okay.
You want to tell us the name of this dwarf, Randy?
Diesel DAS.
Dwarves here are very fond of D names.
Yeah.
Diesel, it's fine.
Thanks for that name, chat.
Yeah.
Thank you, chat. That is from you.
Oh, Diesel. But it's like Z Diesel. So I would always refer to him as Diesel the Weasel.
Seems like it might be pronounced Diesel.
Also that.
Yeah, okay.
And he says, you, Rogar Battlebairn, I challenge you to a duel of Ch31's power.
Is it a cleric off?
It's a cleric off.
Oh.
That is going to happen next time.
Excellent.
Okay.
In the meantime, I know I left everyone in the cliffhanger before we went to the break about the trouble in the tunnels. And so about the same time this challenge is being issued, you hear loud noises and hear the alarm from the tunnels. And a dwarf with blood streaked down his face and a mostly broken sword, like it's broken off, comes out of the tunnels. And he's like, drow in the tunnels.
Boo.
Oh.
And so that will be happening next week as well.
Nice.
Wait, and our cleric is going to be like locked in a cleric off? This seems like very bad plan. Bunch of dwarves who don't think we count.
All kinds of difficult things happening.
So they'll bring wounded out of the mines, and those two will have to heal them and see who heals better.
Ooh.
That would be a suitable cleric challenge.
I want to hear rival sermons. Let's go. Convert me.
Yeah.
I am a skeptic. Convert me.
Okay.
Preaching hard. I'm
gonna explain it for next time, but basically, he's going to end up challenging you to multiple duels, one of which is going to be dueling sermons, one of which is going to be the healing challenge, and one of which is going to be Hammer of Love Smiting.
Whoa.
Oh,
Smite off. Nice.
wait, is that a euphemism?
I was wondering for a moment. I was like,
Hey, everybody. I have been Eric Scott, the DM of this campaign. This is the Dungeon Scrawlers. Take it away, Aaron.
I'm Aaron M. Evans. Check out our sponsors, Idle Champions, on their website, idlechampions.com.
I'm Rhiannon Held. Thank you for Yang Yang for running our tech, even when it makes him panic. And I was distracted because I was pulling up. Thank you to our moderators, who tonight are Seldarine and Shay.
Hey, I'm Yang Yang Wang. I panic all the time, but sometimes, I talk about charities that are stream sponsors. So you want to check them out. We're currently supporting 4 of them: the NAACP, the ACLU, and 2 national bail funds here in the U.S. Check them out right below on our Twitch channel, or if you're watching this on YouTube, the information will be in the about.
I'm Emily Tang. Thank Thank you to everyone who donated or gave us bits.
You can also find our past videos on our YouTube channel linked on our Twitch page below. Be sure to click subscribe to support us and also click the bell to get notified as we add new content.
Yeah.
That's
and-
Stephen Merlino.
Stephen Merlino. I'm Ren Anderson, and yeah, the adventure continues over on our website where you can find the letters that Artemisia was reading, as well as some journal entries from Sturge about a certain cursed sword and dark
And the short
pacts
stories to download.
Short stories to download.
Free only until Sunday. I forgot to say that.
Sunday,
get 'em now.
Sunday,
I'm on
Sunday.
Yeah, seize this opportunity.
That's right. A sketch of the dwarven outpost and a journal entry. So a ton of bonus material this week. It's great. So go check that out. Really, adds to the experience. And until next time, stay scrawly.